Yo, what's up guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a rumor that's been going on for weeks now. The Chicago Bulls are being urged and are listed as a landing spot for Rudy Gobert in this upcoming offseason. But before I jump into today's video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Also leave a quick like below today's video. It takes a second and it helps me out a lot. And some comments and questions below today's video talking about this topic and rumor. Also check out my last video if you guys missed it. I gave a big update on Lonzo Ball's injury and how he might need knee surgery again in this upcoming offseason, and I was talking about some NBA draft rumors also. But either way, let's just jump right into today's video because like I was just saying, a bunch of NBA insiders are urging the Chicago Bulls to make a blockbuster trade with the Utah Jazz for Rudy Gobert. Also, a bunch of, I'd say, articles have came out, and the Bulls have always been listed as one of the potential landing spots for Rudy Gobert. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking that down, breaking down his game, his fit with the Chicago Bulls, his contract, what a potential trade would look like with the Bulls and the Jazz and everything like that. I know for most of this season, there's been a lot of hate with Vuce, and obviously Vuce's whole season has been a roller coaster. He's been up and down. He had COVID. He sat out like a few games here and there for injuries, but his play has just been all over the place. I mean, in the playoffs, I'd say he was pretty well for the most part. I felt like his defense was better in the playoffs, but at the same time, I feel like the Bulls kind of did forget about Vuce here and there. His shooting percentages were all over the place, especially his three-point shot. I don't know what happened to his three-point shot this year, but it just completely fell off. But either way, the first article that did come out, an NBA insider was on the 670 The Score, and he called for the Chicago Bulls to move Vuce in this upcoming offseason. And more specifically, he believes if the Chicago Bulls could swap Vuce for Utah Jazz's Rudy Gobert, they could represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. And don't get me wrong, in today's video, I'm not going to hate on Vuce because even though his play and shooting percentages have been up and down, he still played a very solid season for the Chicago Bulls. He's a walking double-double. But obviously, say this trade ever does happen, Rudy Gobert would give the Chicago Bulls some much-needed defense in the paint and just some rim protection. And I expect some Utah Jazz fans to watch this video and just wonder why the Jazz would ever trade Rudy Gobert. Well, let's be honest, for the past few seasons now, the Utah Jazz have just kind of underperformed in the playoffs in my opinion. There's always been some drama surrounding Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. And this article and some rumors just came out the other day. And according to Real OC Sports, Rudy Gobert is at him or me point with Donovan Mitchell, and he will demand that one of them will be traded in the next few days. Rudy Gobert feels that his own numbers are always consistent or are always getting better, while Donovan Mitchell is a liability on the defensive end and is falling off in terms of explosiveness. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to spend this whole video hating on Rudy Gobert or Vuce, but I do feel like the Jazz need to break up this combo. I highly doubt the Jazz would trade Rudy Gobert for Vuce, but you never know. Say he does come out and demand a trade. I also highly doubt the Bulls do trade for Rudy Gobert because his contract is huge. I'm going to jump into that in a minute. Also, in the Bulls exit interviews, AK and most of the Bulls players were expecting that the Bulls are going to keep their core and just try and get healthy and kind of just retool around the big four in this upcoming offseason. But either way, let me know below today's video if you guys would want the Chicago Bulls to trade Vuce for Rudy Gobert. I know a lot of Bulls fans are kind of sick of Vuce's play. Obviously, he's getting up there in age as well, and he's on a one-year deal now. But either way, Rudy Gobert, I believe he'd be a great fit for the Chicago Bulls in the regular season. But now in the playoffs, I do believe that's a different story. I mean, Rudy Gobert is not the offensive threat Vuce is, and I think that's obvious. Obviously, Rudy Gobert is probably one of the best defensive centers in the NBA, if not the best. I also do believe he won Defensive Player of the Year 2 or 3 times, but in the NBA playoffs, teams just don't guard him, and especially this playoffs, he did not play really that well, and especially the last few playoffs. I don't know, the Utah Jazz have kind of just been a mess, but either way, Rudy Gobert is 29 years old. He is 7'1", he has a 7'9" wingspan, and don't get me wrong, like I said, he'll be a great addition, but at the same time, he would hurt the Chicago Bulls spacing badly, especially in the NBA playoffs. But on this season for the Utah Jazz, he played really well. I mean, in 32 minutes a night, he put up 16 points per game, shooting an amazing 71% from the field. Obviously, that's mainly just dunks. He is not a three-point shooter at all. He did also average a crazy 15 rebounds per game, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks per game. And that's where he would really help out the Chicago Bulls, just helping out the paint defense. I mean, in my last video, I was talking about how the Bulls were like 28th in rebounding and like 25th in blocks per game. He would instantly boost those numbers up a lot just by himself. And honestly, last season with the Jazz, he also averaged 3 blocks per game, which is insane. Throughout his whole career, he's pretty much averaged 2 to 3 blocks per season, and that's crazy as well. Now, I don't question that his fit with the Bulls would be bad, other than maybe in the playoffs with the spacing concerns. But the only other problem that I see with this, I just don't see the Jazz trading him for Vooch. I feel like they could probably get a better trade package in my opinion. But it also doesn't help that he's under contract for pretty much 4 or 5 more years. And in those next 4 to 5 years, this season he was making about $35 million per season. Next season, $37 million. In 2023 and 2024, $40 million, then $43 million, and then about $46 million per season. I like Rudy Gobert, but I just don't see him being worth that money, especially because he really hasn't gotten better on the offensive end since being drafted into the league, in my opinion. Now, I don't expect the Bulls to trade for him, especially with AK and all the Bulls players expecting the Bulls front office to run this back again and let everyone get healthy. And like I said earlier in today's video, I don't plan to hate on Vooch. You know, I do expect the Bulls to shop Vooch in this offseason. I feel like everyone's going to be on the table, even DeMar after his season. I mean, I feel like every player in the NBA is always on the table. Just a few here and there are just really not, I'd say, touchable. But either way, Vooch still had a very solid season for the Bulls. I mean, he is 31 years old. By the start of next season, he will be about 32 years old. But here's the thing with Vooch. He's a much better offensive threat than Rudy Gobert. And in the NBA playoffs, I feel like Vooch kind of stepped up his focus and just defense in general. I mean, on the season, he still played really solid. He played in 73 games, which is really important. You know, this Bulls team has not been healthy, but he played really well and he stayed healthy. In 33 minutes, he did average 18 points per game, still shot about 47% from the field. Now, here is really shocking. He only shot 31% from three-point range. He still did average 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game. And here's why I don't expect the Bulls to trade for Rudy Gobert. First off, you know, his whole fit in the NBA playoffs is a concern. The spacing wouldn't be the best, and that contract is huge. Vooch is on a 1-year deal now, and his salary is going down for next season. This season for the Bulls, he did make $24 million, and next season he'll be making $22 million per season. And at only $22 million per season, and all the things that he does on the court for the Bulls, I just don't think the Bulls can find that value for about $22 million, in my opinion. Let me know below today's video if you guys would put together a trade package for Rudy Gobert in that contract. Either way, thank you guys again for all the love on the channel and the past few videos. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.